Hello and welcome to BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. It is knockout footy time as Bath University host Durham live from the STV. We've had two thrilling matches already today. Leeds Beckett have booked their place in the semi-finals. They will play Exeter, and the winner of this match will play the winner of Hartpury versus Northumbria. That's kicking off at the same time. The floodlights are on. The excitement is just starting to build behind us, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the chairman of Bath University Rugby, Josh Rogers. How are you?
Good, thanks, Dave. How are you doing?
Well, you're a little bit more relaxed than everyone else here. You're cool as a cucumber, but surely underneath this somewhere there's some nerves going on because this is a massive match.
Oh, of course. Absolutely huge game, and it's knockout rugby and all the excitement that goes with that. And yeah, there is some nerves, but I think on the face of it, you got to be confident in the boys. We're going into this game 5 wins on the bounce, and confidence is good. The mood within inside the camp is good, and I've got every confidence in the boys to go out there and do it today.
That's exactly what you want to hear from your chairman. Well, let's take a look at the league table then. As Josh mentioned, Bath did have a great end to the season. 5 wins in a row. They were mentioned in contention as league champions but didn't quite get there, but finishing in 3rd place did get them this home draw against Durham today. Exeter managed to win the league. It took them until the last day, and that got them the home draw against Cardiff that they came through. Hartpury 2nd place, so they play Northumbria. That kicks off at the same time as this, as I mentioned before. And of course, provided you get through this evening, Josh, you'll be going to either the Gilmans or up north. It's a long journey either way, but you can't really pick a team at the moment. Everybody's going to be tough to get around.
No, of course, and that was proven again today with the Exeter Cardiff game. And any team in this league can beat anyone. We've fallen away to Cardiff, and we've gone and beat the league champions Exeter away from home and at home as well. So I think that's what's great about the BUCS Super Rugby, is that it's so competitive. Anyone can beat anyone, and especially when you get to knockout rugby, it's a one-off game, and you've just got to take every chance that comes your way.
I entirely agree. Well, we've been bringing you 1 live match a week, sometimes 2 live matches a week, and it's always thanks to these people. Doughty, thank you for your continued support of BUCS Super Rugby, and if you'd like to know a little bit more about the company, then take a look at this.
It was so much easier because I had already set up on the app about 3 months ago, actually, when it first came to the island.
I really like how simple it was to use.
It's the kind of convenience we want in this holidays that we live in.
Like, you don't really want to carry your passport around on night out, you're always going to have a phone on you.
The convenience to be able to go up and get my phone and just scan a thing.
It's just easy, you have all your stuff in one place.
And it makes life a lot easier when you're trying to prove your age and quite versatile as well.
Thank you once again to Doughty for your continued support of BUCS Super Rugby, bringing us great nights like this. Now, it's Bath versus Durham, 2 fantastic clubs. Of course, we see the first teams every week with BUCS Super Rugby, but there's so much more going on with Bath University Rugby. Just tell us a little bit more about it.
Oh yeah, of course. And whilst it's great to see the BUCS Super Rugby going on, we are a club where we have 5 teams competing in BUCS. We have 3 freshers teams. We have a women's side, 2 rugby league sides, 3, 4 sometimes touch rugby sides. They recently just got back from Valencia, where they went out and won a tournament out there.
That sounds like the best tour ever.
I know.
What are you getting kicked in on a damp December night for when you can go and play touch in Valencia?
I think they get it good sometimes, but no, as you said, it's great, and we try and build this one club ethos, whether you are part of the first team or whether you are playing touch rugby or rugby league, and that's something that I've really tried to push more and more this year than ever before, because I think we all come under the bracket of University of Bath Rugby Club, and that's what we want to be. We want to be here together on a Wednesday night supporting the boys in the quarterfinal, no matter what aspect of the club we come from.
Well spoken, Mr. Chairman. Of course, we have the men at the top of the club like Josh and the coaches as well. And before the match, we were lucky enough to catch up with Aaron James, coach of Bath, and head of rugby at Durham, Alex Key. You've got a home quarter-final, you've got 5 wins in a row. It seems like you found form at the right time. How are you looking forward to the knockouts?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Our aim was to get in the top 4 of the league, and it's something we've achieved, but now it's knockout time.
Well, you got into the top 4, but for a couple of weeks running into the end of the season before Exeter did secure it, people were talking about you as potential league champions. Did you adjust your expectations at any point?
No, we didn't. We did give ourselves a shot, which was really exciting, but it's just nature of the league. So we were in the chance to win in it, and with winning one game, we dropped back to 3rd. So shows tonight with Durham are the only team we haven't beaten in the league. So it's an amazing league, and just shows what we're like last year, where we got a shot from being lower in the league.
Well, you mentioned the teams above you. You've done the double over Hartpury, the double over Exeter, but as you mentioned, Durham have done the double over you, and they've actually been one of the teams who've come down here and done a job. What do you put that down to? You've been so successful, particularly in this latter part of the league, and your phone's gone as well. Goodness me, professionalism. But surely you've got enough in the tank to turn that round this evening.
We hope so, but it's knockout time, and the nature of this league is brilliant. We turned over teams last year in the last couple of years to get through the first round. We're just very focused on what we're doing. We've always known, Durham are a tough side, and that's a cliche. It's going to be the same tonight. We've got lots to win and lots to lose on this one, so it's been our main focus as ourselves.
Looking at not just the starting 15 but the full squad this evening, there's bags of experience in there, and some of the boys are lost tonight and it could be their last game in a Bath jersey. Do you think emotion plays a part at this stage of the season?
We've talked about the emotional side of it, and when we've played our best it's been minimal emotion. We've just talked about, and the boys have talked about, just trusting each other, trusting what we've done and all that training and all that culture we've built up over a long period of time. It's the nature of university rugby. You're always losing some, and you've always got the next good ones coming through next year, which is frustrating, but it's also exciting. But we want these guys to get where they want to be, and starts tonight.
And I'm sure where they want to be is Twickenham. Quickly, with regards to the other results, Exeter left it very late against Cardiff, and Leeds Beckett managed to pip Cardiff Met as well. Hartpury have got a home fixture against Northumbria tonight. It really is anyone's championship.
Yeah, that's good, and there was lots of talk about being just a top 4 playoff and a top 8, but again it shows everyone's got some shot at it. And you just talked about the league season, how you couldn't pick the end of the league season till it was the last game. That's the beauty of the league, and I think it should stay. Well done to Exeter and Leeds, but we're about beating Durham tonight.
Well, very, very best of luck with that. Really looking forward to this one.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Alex, away draws in the Cup are always tough, but to come to a team you've already beaten twice this season, it could be worse.
It could be, but I think the previous 2 games mean nothing now. We just got it's these 80 minutes, and it's a shootout in those 80 minutes.
A couple of notable absentees today, despite it being a strong squad that you've put out. Anything to report on some of the names that are missing?
No, obviously we've got some good players who are injured, but we've got a strong squad, so we're quite comfortable. I mean, obviously Josh Basham would be useful to have, Fitz Harding, Ben Stevenson, these sort of guys, Scott Bowman, but that's what it is. You've got to have a squad.
Certainly shows the strength in depth that you've got across the board. A lot's been said in the build-up to these knockouts. Of course, it's the nature of university rugby that some boys are going to be playing their last game in the jumper at some point. How much do you think that plays a part in the build-up to matches like this?
I don't think it plays very much. I mean, you could have a team where you're not losing hardly anyone. We're losing about 3 or 4, that's all this year. So, I mean, obviously for those boys it's going to mean a hell of a lot. You're going to have that every year, so I don't think it makes any difference.
Very obvious improvements. If you rewind back 12 months, it looks like a completely different atmosphere in the camp and amongst the boys this year. Do you think that's the kind of thing you need to see yourselves through to the latter stages of a competition like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the attitude has been 100% better this year. When I say the attitude, the focus, the energy, the things that we say they have to bring to it, they've brought, and I've been really impressed with them. So, yeah, I think it has made a big difference. I think also last year we mucked up a couple of games a few games by not very much, whereas this year we've been a bit more competitive in that area.
And of course, Bath, they're very strong here. The pitch looks in pretty good condition, but quite a small pitch for 2 teams that like to chuck it around. That might change the dynamic.
Yeah, it's a ridiculously small pitch. It's not any pitch inside a track is not great. But it is what it is. So all these things you just have to kind of stop. Don't let them be distractions, and just keep yourself pretty tunnel vision about how you're going to play today.
Well, really looking forward to tonight. I'm sure you are too. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Good.
Alex Key and Aaron James with their thoughts there ahead of this BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty quarter-final, Bath versus Durham. Let's take a look at the men who'll be taking the field to get this one underway. Bath start in the front row with Arthur Caldwell. Tom Doughty skippers the side from hooker, and London Irish's Austin Haig is in at number 3. Angus Hinton and Jack Davies at 4 and 5. Jack Kenningham, Chris Barry and James Catlin make up the back row. Ed Rimmer and Alex Burridge are the familiar half-back combination, with Will Hughes on the left, Ethan Hutt on the right, Will Butt and Alex Nisbet in the centres, and Will Partington at full-back. With regards to that starting 15, a couple of things stick out for me there, Josh. Jack Davies, I'm used to seeing him in the back row, and also Hugo Styles not in the 15 tonight.
Yeah, well, unfortunately Hugo picked up a knock on his ankle a few weeks back, and that's meant that he hasn't played for the last 3 weeks, so easing back into it, I guess. Don't want to rush in too soon, especially with knockout rugby. You need a whole squad when it gets to this stage, so I'm sure we'll see him at some point from the bench. In regards to Jack, yeah, he's not used to playing there these days, but has played there in the past, and he's putting a big shift there. He's a big part of the line out, so it won't really be too much difference.
Well, there is Aaron James, the man who selected the 23 that he's hoping will get them to the semi-finals next week. Standing in their way are Durham, already done the double over Bath this season. They're coming off the back of 3 successive losses, but if you want a team to play away, it's going to be one that you've done twice already this season. It is some familiar names in the pack for them as well. Jack Conti, Freddie Davis and Toby Woods at 1, 2 and 3. The big Welshman Colin Markham captains the side in the second row alongside Henry Palmain, who's got over an injury. Chris Johnson, Jamie Adamson and Ben Foles at 6, 7 and 8. Again, it's a familiar halfback combination. Jacob Collin and Paddy McDougall at 9 and 10. Josh Wright on the left wing, Jack Headley on the right. Charlie Wilson and Matt Welsh in the centres, and Saul Melvin Farr played most of his rugby on the wing this year, but he's chosen at full back today for Durham. And the replacements: James Hadfield, Jake Buckingham, Kieran Verdon, Adam Thrasher, Rhys Davis, George Wotton, Brandon Bellarmin and Hugo Styles for Bath. Luke Chadwick, Joe Burdis, Sam Hughes, Marin House, Ben Osuntakin, Ollie Green, Miles Rawston-Rudd and Cameron Gleave for Durham. Well, Miles Rawston-Rudd and Hugo Styles stand out in particular as men that really can make an impact. They've both scored over 100 points in the league this season, and it must fill a team full of confidence as Alex Key checks his Tinder there just before. Well, you never know, there might be some fresh talent in Bath. But here come the teams. Durham out first. They're trying to rev up some atmosphere here. They've not brought a lot of supporters down. It's a long journey from Durham. In fact, I was talking to Alex Key beforehand, and with the playoff being Newcastle versus Swansea in a couple of weeks' time, I'll give you 3 guesses which one he'd prefer. But here come the hosts. Got to the semi-finals last year, riding high with 5 successive wins. They've done the double over Hartbury, they've done the double over Exeter, but is this evening where they get their first win over Durham of the season, Josh Rogers?
Yeah, as we know, Durham have seemed to have been our bogey team this year, the only team we haven't beat. I think now we're past that stage. We haven't played them since November. A lot has happened since then. We've gone on a 5-game winning streak, and we've beaten some top teams both here and both away from home. So I think all that will be forgotten now, and we can.
You say a lot's changed. What has been the main change? Because before you went on that 5-game winning streak, there were questions being asked. You lost 2 in a row. It was the 3rd time in a season you'd lost 2 in a row. But then all of a sudden, it looked like a fresh set of boys as Partington gets us underway. What would you say the main cultural change has been?
I think not really a cultural change. The culture's always been there, and we've always had that great belief within the camp. But I think it was just sort of having that complete confidence in ourselves, and the boys have really, with the belief of the coaches, gone out there and taken on board what they've said, and had that belief that they're going to go out there and win a game.
Line's yours.
Well, Jacob Collin.
Line's yours.
Box kicks to touch, so we'll get an early look at the set piece. You mentioned in the pre-show that Jack Davies is always a target at the line out, whether he's playing in the back row or the second row, but Hinton was the target there. And Tom Doughty, a familiar face in the armchair, as Joe Burns describes it. I'm sure he'll tell me there's more to it than that, but This a great start for Bath. Tackle made by Jamie Adamson on Tom Doughty. Bath going to put some width on this early, are they? No, Will Butt goes crashing through from 12. Burridge. So both centres getting an early touch. There's Nisbet up over the 10-metre line.
Nice man, good turnover.
Oh, and the turnover. Durham getting hands on that.
Hold in front.
McJewell sends the winger chasing back. It's a good take and a chance to stretch the legs as well for Ethan Hutt.
Not now, Black.
Good early possession here for Bath. Durham forced that turnover but didn't keep hold of it for very long. As Burridge puts some width on it. It's Chris Barry up over the halfway line. Good tackle on him, and again Durham attempting to get hands on it. Austin Hay. Oh,
Yeah,
Partington
advantage,
tries to
number
put
one
some
offside.
footwork on. And penalty advantage coming as well. So a little shot to nothing here. Chip over the top. Taken by Jacob
offside.
Collin. Just wondering whether or not he might have increased the advantage for a bit of interference on the way through there. But a steady 2 minutes of possession there for the hosts.
Yeah, not too bad at all. I think it's always difficult. You want to settle yourselves down nice and early, get some possession in. They'll be disappointed with that one turnover. I think it was just a matter of boys not getting there really, getting beat to it quickly, no support play. That's something we focus on quite a lot in training, so I think they'll work on that for the next one.
Penalty punched into the Durham 22. And a very confident start with the catch and drive for Bath. And a great opportunity.
6 man.
Put some pressure on the line here.
9.
BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. 3 minutes gone of this quarter-final again. Angus Hinton is the target, and here it comes.
And that ball on the outside. 8 is legal, always bound in. Always bound
Durham
in.
coming through here. Ben Fowles is the man with hands on it, so it has to go to ground. And Bath still 10 metres short.
All available.
Good hit there on Jack Kenningham. He can present the ball. Here's Burridge. A little dab through here for the winger to chase. Melvin Farr goes full length there, does very well. Almost cricket fielding under pressure from Will Hughes. It's a good early carry there from Henry Parmain. Him and Colin Markham will go through a lot of work today. Rimmer makes the tackle. It's Freddie Davis with the carry for Durham.
Fully bound, fully bound. Good, back foot please, back foot. Use it!
Colin boxes again from inside his own 22. That one stays in field though as Partington takes it. Let's put that footwork on but finds Hughes instead, who charges up the wing, wants to go straight through Jacob Collin. Quite a diminutive scrum half. Oh, could there be a gap here? No, it's been picked off. I don't think Jack Davies realised how much space he had then. And Charlie Wilson gives the ball to Durham. First real attack for them. Here is Colin Markham. Former Llandudno College. Played a few games for the Drovers as well in the upper echelons of Welsh club rugby. Freddie Davis. Oh, Jack Davis could have been in there, you know.
Yeah, I think he's not used to being found out in spaces like that, and was looking for a faster man outside him to sort of put the wheels on, because Jack unfortunately is lacking in that department.
Good contest in
Well,
two,
that was the
then he's played
kick
it
in
off the
behind.
feet.
Saw Melvin Farr gets a terrible bounce, does very well because Will Hughes was ready to pounce. But the penalty here to Durham. And the tee is coming on, and Paddy McJewell is going to have a crack at the sticks here. This quite kickable, 5 metres inside the 10.
Yeah, I was watching him in the warm-up, and he was putting him over from here with no problems. So, I mean, hopefully I jinx him, but I don't see any problems with it from here for him.
You can't say that. You're a neutral co-commentator this evening. Chairman of Bath Rugby, Josh Rogers. But Paddy McJewell, Durham's first real venture into the Bath half, could yield points. No doubt about it. Bath 0, Durham 3. And I think Durham will be pretty pleased with that after being under the cosh.
Yeah, very much so. I think we've had all of the possession, but a few mistakes have let Durham in, and they've ventured into half once and come away with points, and that's what you need to do in knockout rugby, especially when you're playing away from home.
Paddy McDowell caused havoc in the opening game of the season down at Roslyn Park. Scored a great try. Bath didn't know what to do with him. He's come back from injury. I think he's a very important part of this Bath squad, and if they're going to do anything this season, then he is going to be a real part of it. So McDowell 1 from 1. Bath restart into the 22. Colin Markham puts his head down and goes again. Floodlights on full tilt now. Dusky skies here at the STV as Will Butt puts in a good tackle. No going through him there. Parmain.
Lost now! Yeah, you know what?
Again, Collins going to put boot to ball. Partington's underneath it. Good take from him. Chase was from Adamson, who makes the tackle. Again, Partington looks very confident under the ball as Hay runs into Ben Foles. Oh, the big man makes 10 metres. Those prop forwards love a carry. And the massive hit, Jamie Adamson.
Good tackle, clearly wrapped. Tackle that down!
God, I felt that from up here. And it's gone up a notch as Adamson makes another monster. And there's Austin Hay again. He really fancies it now.
Get the number there, Adam. That's wide. Thank you.
Nesbitt. Physicality's gone up a notch here as Will Butt tries to freeze the hands.
Hold.
But keeps hold of it, and Durham can slow the ball down onto the 22. Well, let's have a replay of this shot then. Jamie Adamson. Actually, no, we're going to have a look at the big man getting through. Austin Hay, that'll be going on his highlights reel at the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. He loves doing that, going in for the bump. I think it's his favourite part of the game.
Shot at goal.
Oh, why not? Oh, but look at that shot. Goodness me. Will Hughes straight onto the shoulder. Jamie Adamson. But amidst all of that, there was a penalty advantage being played, and Will Partington is going to have the chance to level things from the 10-metre line.
Yeah, you can definitely see over the last 5 minutes there, the physicality's up in. Both teams are getting into the game, finding their feet, and we're really seeing a feast of physicality out there today.
Now, you're out injured at the moment. When you see hits like that, does it make you miss the game or want to be out for longer?
Oh, you always miss the game, especially when you're not playing. It's frustrating, but there are some big boys out there playing today and some really big hits that you don't always miss.
Will Partington to level proceedings. Not this time. The score remains Bath 0, Durham 3 as we approach 10 minutes. BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Exeter have already booked their place in the semi-finals. They'll host Leeds Beckett at Topsham next week. And the winner of this match will have an away semi-final against either last year's champions Hartpury or Northumbria. So it's very much depends on where you are geographically as to where you'd rather travel. And that's gone out on the far side. Pretty sure if Durham win today, they'd much rather Northumbria than...
you could say that, and I think if we win today, we'd much rather Hartpury as well, because the travelling really does take out of the boys, and it can be very tough getting all that way and then going on to play a game after that as well.
Interesting. They'd rather Hartpury than Northumbria. To be fair, anyone can beat anyone on their day. If you've not seen the results from earlier, as that's overthrown, which allows Freddie Davis to take Durham back into the ascendancy here. Here's Matt Welsh, finds Melvin Farr, who breaks through. Oh, what a finish from the fullback. Saw Melvin Farr through the gap, and he extends the lead. That's the first try in the match. And it's Bath 0, Durham 8.
Yeah, very good try there. he threw the little missed pass and sold it well and went through the gap, and it seemed that it just sort of parted ways for him there. I think the boys won't be happy with that for sure.
Well, it seemed pretty regulation. Pass from Welsh there, just went through the hands. Little dummy managed to get around Nesbitt. Wasn't an overlap, just a good finish. Paddy McJewell here with the chance to take it to double figures. One successful penalty so far for Durham's number 10. Got a great view of this. That's Ezra on cameras. Does a great job every week. And that one just drifts to the right of the post. So a little bit of a let off there for Bath, but still 8 points to make up. Again, let's take a look at this. Is there anything that's happened in the Bath defensive line?
Say it again? Yeah.
No, he's just sold the dummy, isn't he? Will Hughes has bought it. Saw Melvin Fott. Gets the first try of the match.
Yeah, very good finish there. Hughesy was disappointed with that one, I know. He won't let it happen again, I can assure you of that one.
Plenty of time to make up for it. 12 minutes gone. BUCS Super Rugby presented by EOT. Bath 0, Durham 8. If you're joining us for the first time watching BUCS Super Rugby, very warm welcome. But just so you know, the ticking clock is pretty accurate, but it's not linked in with the referees. So if the clock goes in to the red and your team's winning, don't get too excited. Melvin Farr's underneath this one, fresh, full of confidence after scoring that try, and Paddy McJewell in the scrum cap puts it straight down the throat of Will Partington. Doesn't want to do that, but he does chase his own kick and make the tackle. Partington, one of the best counter runners in the competition, as Jack Compton tackles Jack Davis, who gets over the gain line. Oh, good ball, Austin Hay into space again. Burridge finds it with the miss pass. Oh, quick hands here, Bath really going to town. Trying to put some pace on the ball. Another huge collision. Burridge looks inside but goes outside. Doughty takes it in. Hay again takes it at first receiver. Another bump. Gets through 2 tackles before presenting the ball. Now it goes to the left. Partington in at first receiver. Can't quite get the offload away.
Okay, one time back.
Still with Bath though. Hay waiting at first receiver. He wants a 10 on his back, not a 3. Now it does go to the number 10. Burridge. Luke miss pass there to Will Hughes. Tags the corner on the inside ball. I thought that had gone to hand, and that would have been the first score of the match for Bath. Great awareness, but Durham survive and the sheets stay clean. Adamson. I think that's been a big change in the way Bath have played this year. Goes one side, then the other. Traditionally, they've been associated with big forward pack, but they've just developed on that, and that was a great example of that.
Yeah, I think we've always tried to play a bit of running rugby, but at times our pack have been so dominant.
Oh, Partington strides through the middle, eventually scragged down by the scrum half Jacob Collin. That's what he's all about. And then the reinforcements arrive, but it has to go here. Little dab to the corner for the chase, needs a bounce, doesn't quite get there. But Bath have gone up a gear.
Yeah, Will Partington's so good at that. He's so elusive in that backfield, quick step. Oh, here we see Burridge throwing it a lot wide to Hughesy, just unfortunately didn't go to hand this time.
Wasn't far off, it was the right idea. But there was a Durham player there as Freddie Davis gets a bit of attention to the left leg. There was a massive overlap and he came running out to the line that put the doubt in Burridge's mind not to put it through the hands. So this is Partington.
Yeah, we've seen all year how good he is at this. He's phenomenal. He gets through that, beats that first man, and once he beats that first man, you're in trouble. And he takes a scrag tackle from the 9 there to pull him down.
But Durham are on the back foot there. You can see them coming back in dribs and drabs. But yeah, it was the man who raced up. I think it was Matt Welsh actually. Just took matters into his own hands, and it was a try saver really. If he stays in the defensive line, then Bath go through the hands, and the gap is closed. There's big Austin Hay.
Okay, the line's yours, Durham.
Prop both sides of the scrum, but he shows he can do it in open play as well. Some great carries from him, and in fact it got a touch off Durham. So it will be Bath to throw in again. They secure the ball. Angus Hinton has been watertight.
Okay, advantage early.
Advantage coming as they put some of the backs in as well, but they're cruising towards the line. That is vintage Bath, and they are back in the quarter-final.
Yeah, no surprises there. Who scored the try? BUCS Super Rugby all-time top try scorer Tom Doughty. I'd be impressed to see how many of those were from open play and how many were from the back of a driving maul. I think it's his favourite part of it. Gets there every time, super tight darts, and is always at the end of it to finish it off.
Well, he'll say that's his reward for the super tight darts, but just look at the men coming in to support there. Will Butt's in there, Ethan Hutt's in there. But Tom Doughty gets his 8th of the season. In fact, it was against Durham where he became the first man to score 20 tries in BUCS Super Rugby earlier in the year. And he's another player who's a really important cog in the Bath machine.
Yeah, huge. I mean, obviously he's our captain, and I mean, he wasn't playing for the last 3 games through suspension, but the boys missed him even with the wins. He's so influential, whether it's on the pitch playing and whether it's in the dressing room as well. He's a big character, and he's always about, and the boys really look up to him as a role model.
One missed penalty for Partington. This to bring it within 1. Strikes it well. And does close the gap. Well, we'll have a great view of this. Just look at the speed that it comes in. Angus Hinton has been a great target in the line, but as soon as the roll goes on, Henry Parmain trying to do something, but I don't think there's a team in the league that can do it quite as precisely as Bath.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Taken well by the scrum half from the restart.
Back now! Back foot, back foot. Okay, push back, push back.
And despite being in the lead, Durham haven't spent a great deal of time inside the Bath 22. Saul Melvin Farr scored the try from outside.
One. Good work.
And the other coming from a relatively long-range penalty, but that's a good clearance kick.
Ball is live. Play.
Taken quickly though. Saul Melvin Farr looks to dab it to the corner.
Mark that, Adam.
Burridge has watched it dead though. Well, the tiny margins that games like this are often decided on. How important are kicks like that going to be?
Yeah, no, big mistake there from Durham. Allows us to get out of pressure and back in their half. As you said, Durham haven't spent much time in our half, and they had a really good opportunity there to put us under some pressure, but we've been let off there, and now we can look to go on the attack and push back into this game.
Okay, hookers.
This is the first scrum, isn't it?
Yeah, don't find yourself saying that very often after 20 minutes.
No, 18 minutes in, it shows how few errors both sides have made. And the penalty count's been pretty low as well. It's been a real disciplined arm wrestle here as we approach the halfway point of the first half. Knockout rugby here at the STV.
Yes, please, sir. Crouch. Bind. Stand up.
Two really good front rows here as well. Cordwell, Doughty and Hay for Bath, Conti, Davis and Woods for Durham.
There's a clear mark here, okay? I want you over that on the line court.
And Tom Doughty actually played age group England counties on the same team.
Must have your head in your gap.
Won't count for a lot for the next hour or so, but I'm sure after the match it'll be wonderful.
Hold weight. Let's go back 5. Back 5. Crouch. Down. Bind. Set! 2, 3, 4.
It's gone down on our side. Oh, it's just stayed up actually.
Advantage.
Oh, and Bath get the shove on. And the advantage coming as well, so a free shot at it here, or at least for a few phases, as Hughes comes off his wing, carries in midfield.
Advantage 9, okay.
And this is going to be a kickable penalty for Bath to take the lead, or after the last score. Are they going to dab it to the corner? Big decisions here. But easy decisions to have when you're on the attacking side of them.
Yeah, I think with the confidence the boys have in the driving line now, I wouldn't be surprised if we go to the corner here. Still early days. We've shown how powerful we are from it, and it's a staple. And look, as I thought, going to the corner here.
And when your captain's usually the recipient of going to the corner, it's not a surprise what direction he points in.
No, he's just thinking about his stats at the end of the season, I think, with most of those decisions.
Bath 7, Durham 8, 20 minutes gone of this quarter-final. Fascinating quarter-final it's been as well. Durham have had 2 opportunities to score, and they've converted them both. This time Davies is the target. And Doughty takes the ball at the back, adds his way. Durham being pulled about here. It's broken up and they reset. Still with Doughty, but a penalty try awarded. The pressure relentless. First at the scrum, then at the line out, then at the maul, and Bath in the ascendancy. Oh, and a yellow card's been awarded there.
Number 1, he gets to the bin.
Is that Jack Conti who's been sent to the bin?
Number 1.
And losing a front row forward as well. He'll be leaving the field earlier than planned. That really does put a spanner in the works for Durham. Well, keep your eye there. Jack Conti. Where is he? Number 1. And the referee. Easy decision for him. Bath 14, Durham 8.
Two knock-ons, first from Durham, from Bath, then from Durham.
And then straight from the restart,
Okay,
Bath
time
cough
off.
up possession.
Yeah, be very disappointed with that, having gone over straight back from that, straight off the kickoff, making a mistake. It's just never a good idea. You want to settle yourself down and get it off the park and reset then halfway up the pitch, but just made it tough for ourselves now, and hopefully just push on from here. We've shown how strong the scrum was last time out, so hopefully can put the Durham scrum under a bit of pressure this time.
Here's another look at the penalty try.
Yeah, good. I'm going to stay there.
It's so difficult for a defending team. You're just trying to get any grip, any advantage you can. But the referee keeping a keen eye on things. Any mistake that they do make is going to be punished. And I don't think they can have any complaints.
Heads and gaps, we're good here, okay?
Sam Hughes, who's come on.
Bind!
Former RGC Academy man from Llandudno. Bath look to disrupt that scrum again, but Durham managed to clear it. Here's McJewell. Matt Welsh.
And right now, Rock!
Again, Durham take it to the right-hand side. Goes to a big man
Okay,
this time.
off
Henry
again.
Harmain with the carry, backed up by Colin Markham. It's a good tackle.
First man, good
On the
turnover.
try
First
scorer.
man.
It's been turned over as well, and they go straight into McJewell. Charlie Wilson tries to get hands on it, and Bath with the one-man advantage. Remember, BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Jacko Davies finds himself in midfield again, and now Bath want to put it wide. This is where the pace comes on. Strag tackle, but the tackle made again.
Tackle.
Durham defending for their lives here. But Bath outpointing them in every facet. Oh, that's a good tackle though. That's the kind of ingenuity, the kind of effort that Durham need, but they've conceded the penalty again as Burridge goes cross-field for Hughes to chase. Oh, that's a good chase from Hughes as well, but again, no advantage coming. and it's a real purple patch for the hosts.
Yeah, as you can see, going back to the initial turnover, Chris Barry, once he gets over the ball, you're never getting him off it. That's something he's absolutely class at, and in a really dangerous position for us, he always comes up on top with those and really helps the boys out. And then, as you can see, once the back's getting in their hands, they absolutely love going away with it.
Corner? Yeah, no worries.
Well, the Bath replacements bench, a good place to be at the moment. Wasn't the case when Saul Melvin Farr went in to make it 8-0.
Boys on me! Yeah.
But I think Durham realise now, any penalty they give away inside their own half, they know exactly where it's going to go. And the last two have resulted in 7 pointers for the hosts.
Say it again.
Yeah, it's something we practice week in, week out. The boys are so confident with it. And as I said, Doughty loves to have his stats, so he'll try it at every opportunity.
Does that relate to the rest of the club as well? The 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s? Is that something that everybody works on all the way down?
Mainly within the 1s and 2s, it's something we're really building on, but throughout the club, the line out is always a key aspect, especially with the two Lils. I think they would have the whole club playing just in the forwards if they could.
Well, there are Bath's recent results, those 5 wins in a row, of course. Interestingly, it was a loss to Cardiff that set them on that run. And Cardiff were the last team to beat Leeds Beckett as well, so maybe that's the secret. You get past Cardiff, maybe they're the gatekeepers. As for Durham, 3 losses in a row before coming here. But as we've said a few times, as Bath come forward again, Tom Doughty at the back.
8 is bound in.
Oh, just look at him, eyes on the line, advantage coming again. So they're going to have a free go at this. Here's Burridge. Dunny's inside. Oh, tries to go out of the back door. It's gone to ground, but it's come back with Bath. They're just short.
Still advantage,
but they're queuing up. It's been picked off by Melvin Farr, perhaps. They should have gone left there because they had acres of space.
Yeah.
And Durham had recovered on the near side.
Number 3. Number 3.
But a decision to be made here, points or corner. Well, Tom Doughty's already jogging himself over to the touchline, so that's the decision made. But a bit too close for the penalty try this time, but Durham just cannot handle this catch and drive. Here's the dummy inside. You fancied Burridge there, didn't you? You thought he was going to get there. Try-saving tackle from Jamie Adamson. He's been a tremendous defender for Durham in open play. Whether it's the big physical hits in midfield or those more important tackles closer to the line. Jacko Davis takes it in the line-out. Tom Doughty joins, gets the ball in hand. There's a Durham player who's just released there, who's making a nuisance of himself on the floor, but it's creaking again, and it's another try for Tom Doughty. Bath 19, Durham 8. And it's a carbon copy of the first one, with the backs joining the forwards. Not sure how much use the Ethan Hutt's being, but a little bit of weight in there when it's going forward. It's just impossible to stop.
Yeah, as we said, the boys, they really work on that in training, and it's something that no matter what, we always have it as a go-to. And that man again, Tom Doughty, always there at the back of it, and it's a harder job than it looks. He's controlling it, he's making sure it works well, and it's just Durham can't live with it at the minute, and it's going our way.
By the looks of things, he's had a haircut for the cameras as well.
Yeah, no, he's always got to look the best when he's on TV, so he was probably in there this morning getting it tidied up.
Is there a team barber?
No, I can't. I know there's a couple of lads who will go to the same place, but judging by some of the haircuts, I don't think they go there either.
I was going to say, just so I know which one to avoid. Here's Partington then. 1 conversion, 1 missed penalty. The second try was a penalty try. This to take them to 21. Oh, draws it in. Like a beautiful 8-iron. And after a shaky start, Bath have taken control of this. And that's exactly what it is, isn't it? It's control.
Yeah, you got it. Timing, Durham!
Another look at it. Again, from a Durham perspective, difficult to know what you can do. Do you take the gamble and not compete?
Contact in the air.
It's a difficult one. I think at times it is completely unplayable, and the boys are just so good at it that no matter what you do, you can't. I think we saw then Durham tried not to compete and they still gave away the penalties. So it's just when the boys are on it, there is nothing that will stop it.
Jamie Adamson challenging the man in the air there, giving away another penalty. And what were we, 17, 18 minutes in, praising both teams on their discipline. Since then, Durham have given away 4 penalties. 3 of them have resulted in tries.
Mo! 5
on the outsides!
Oh, and in midfield, they've made 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 metres straight away. Again, the big men coming in, making more. They're tiptoeing up to the 22 here, and another penalty advantage coming as Doughty breaks to the left-hand side.
Thanks, mate.
Now they can put some width on it. There's the missed pass, and
any others?
Will Butt, the man they missed out, he's the one who offers support. Burridge waits, but they ignore him and go to Partington instead. Can't quite get the hands away, but again, they knew the advantage was coming. And is this going to be another card? They can't keep giving away these penalties. What's the referee got to say?
Speak to him. Guys cannot come and ask those sorts of questions. How many? Yeah. Where's the card? Yeah. You manage them? Yeah. I'll manage them.
Boys, come in, please.
Captain! Ball penalties, scrum penalties, penalties in your own half, far too many. You know what'll happen. You speak to them now, please. Towards you? Yeah. Thank you.
BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Half an hour gone.
Okay.
Durham flew out of the blocks, took an 8-0 lead, but since then it's been all Bath. 2 tries for Doughty and a penalty try as well. And if you wait about 30 seconds, you'll see exactly where they came from.
Line is yours. Okay. Yellow card is over, so we need the player back off.
Jack Conti.
He's coming to you.
Comes back on.
Coming to you.
To that yellow card. It's a hammer blow when you concede a penalty try and the yellow card as well. Pretty sure be careful here.
Once backwards!
The counter drive from Durham. Again, Will Butt adds his weight. They've managed to defend this one.
Broken away at the front. Tackle
now! 5 metres to go. Durham finally managed to defend one. But Bath come again. Big Angus Hinton with the carry. Patient stuff here from Bath. Caldwell picks and goes. Marker makes the tackle.
Away! Back foot!
Bath knocking on the door again. Keeping it close, keeping it tight.
Use the line, Durham. Advantage, offside.
Oh, another advantage coming. Durham have given away another penalty, but it's not going to matter because that is a 4th try. And Durham in danger of disappearing from this quarter-final. 26 unanswered points with the easiest of conversions to come. And that smile on Austin Hayes' face tells you that all 4 scores have gone the front row's way.
Yeah, I think we saw that Jacko didn't quite make it on the first attempt, and Austin then picked up the spoils and went over the whitewash. I think it's nothing short of deserved from Austin. He's had a phenomenal first half so far. Some really strong carrying, and he's got his try to show for it.
They've restarted well. Worryingly for them, Henry Parmain has stayed down. We're into the final 6 or 7 minutes until half-time. Remember, our clock isn't linked in with the referees, but Durham needs something. They've shown they can be dangerous.
We've got both teams with players down.
Oh, and there's injuries all over the place. Parmain
both teams with players down.
strapping up his own right leg. Can't quite see who's down there for Bath.
We didn't think they were. If we do, we'll give them. Yeah.
As long as you can.
It'll be your scrum at the
Worryingly for them,
I know.
it is the captain, Tom Doughty. And we just see Austin Hay there, just joining, doing the business.
The mark to the restart. Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
Good
we'll just
try for him, and as Josh Rogers said,
we got
well deserved after the half an hour he had at STV. BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. And these short injury stoppages, just the opportunity for the players to get their breath back. It's been brutal
It
stuff.
will be,
yeah, we're just going to.
We've seen some huge hits going in, some fast-flowing rugby, and I'm sure the boys are breathing quite heavy out there. It's been a very intense first half an hour, and I think it shows the calibre of BUCS Super Rugby. Some of these boys are really putting some hits in and showing what they're worth.
James Hadfield has taken the field, so hopefully it's not too serious for Tom Doughty.
Everyone.
Maybe that could be his evening over.
Just check.
That'd be a huge blow for Bath, huge blow for him as well. So we can hear the groans there being picked up on the referee's mic.
Yeah, that's absolutely devastating for Tom. I'm hoping he's all right. As I said earlier, he's more than just a player to the boys. He's their leader, and they all look up to him. So hopefully it's nothing too serious, but we're just gonna have to wait and see.
But even in the short amount of time he's been on the pitch, he's scored 2 tries. And played a key part in getting the penalty try as well.
Crouch! Bind!
Just looking down at the medical staff out of your shot, it looks like the right shoulder actually, not the arm that they're giving attention to. If we do receive any news, any injury updates on Tom Doughty, we'll bring them to you. That's a better scrum from Durham. Remember, they got decimated early in the first half, so McDowell can get his hands on the ball and release Matt Welsh. So much danger in the back line of Durham, but we've hardly seen them in the 34 minutes here. Now McDowell tries to release Josh Wright, the left winger who's popped up on the right-hand side. Anderson. Here's McDowell. Options both ways. They decide to keep it in the backs. Charlie Wilson gets stopped in his tracks, then gets up over the gain line. Oh, lovely line from Chris Johnston. That's meat and drink for him. That's what he made a name for himself as towards the end of last season, as Matt Welsh takes Durham for a rare foray into the Bath 22. Parmaid, he's back up after a brief injury recess for the big second rower. Johnston again, second carry in quick succession for him as we approach the final 5 minutes of the half. McDowell on the short ball. Durham making inroads here and upping the speed as well. Freddie Davies.
Off you come, tackle assist!
Another pick and go there.
Lost!
Durham fancy this and they need something as well. Closing in on the line, 6 or 7 metres short. Plenty of options left and right, but they keep it tight. It's pretty much the only sustained pressure they've had in the entire half.
No tackle! No tackles!
Jamie Adamson picks and goes. Tackle made by James Hadfield on for Tom Doughty. Durham playing Bath at their own game here. Patient, big men closing in on the line, held up. Bath passed the first test defensively.
Yeah, great shift there from the boys. I think they know what it needs to be done defending in this area, as well as going up and scoring at the other end. They know how important this is, and it's again something they work on really hard in training.
Yeah, good discipline from Durham though. They've been under the cosh and quite easy in moments like that to lose your head and think you need to score the try straight away, but went through the phases, got over the line. But Jack Davies managed to get himself underneath the ball. So still 28 unanswered points for Bath in this BUCS Super Rugby quarter-final presented by Doughty.
Good. That's 3 times already we stopped for you. Hey? Come on then.
Well, Austin
Okay,
Hay is loving life here, isn't
Mark's
he?
here, Durham, Scrum, 9.
And why not? 1 try, couple of breaks. Score update from the other quarter-final at the Gilmans. Hartbury 14, Northumbria 13.
Time on.
And that kicked off the same time as this one, so that's looking like a tight one as well.
Yeah, no, as we were saying earlier, this league, anyone can beat anyone, so no one's going to run away with the game. It sounds like a cracker over there as well.
Well, Northumbria have had some pretty hefty defeats this season, but last time they visited the Gilmans, it was a late last score for Hartbury that won it.
Keep it up! Okay, Durham!
Scrum's not going anywhere. So the number 8, Ben Foles, has a dart himself, but he's tackled at source. Bath closing in on their second try of the match here to close the gap, just as Bath were threatening to blow them away. Chris Johnston, his back row partner Jamie Adamson, rifles forward. Kenningham tried to get hands on that, but he's called off by the referee.
Stay back foot, Bath.
Parmain looks to pick his spot, gets met by Catlin.
6! Advantage, offside.
Advantage coming for Durham here, so now the chance and the try. Oh, I thought that had touched the line, then called it prematurely. But Durham really knocking on the door here. There it is.
On the line.
It's been coming for about 5 minutes. And Durham stop the rot and get their second try of the match. Bath 28, Durham 13.
Yeah, good play there by Durham,
It will be if he
keeping it
takes the time.
tight, making no mistakes. Very, very tough to defend against. The boys really had to dig deep there, and eventually it was just a little bit too much for them.
Well, I thought he dotted it down there. But the referee in a great position, knew it was coming. They had the penalty advantage as well.
Yeah, just on the 15. Okay, you both got me.
And it was the hooker in the end, Freddie Davies. Managed to roll over, find the gap, and more importantly, close the gap. Bath 28, Durham 13.
It will be time if he takes the kick. If he takes the net. Yeah, yeah.
Paddy McJewell. 1 from 2 for him. Missed conversion, opened the scoring with a penalty. And we've heard from the referee that this will be the last action.
Yep.
Gets the luck off the post. And that brings us to half-time. Bath 28, Durham 15. And that quite an important conversion, because it takes Durham to within 2 scores. And that could be huge in the grand scheme of things. However, I think the brothers, the home team, will certainly be the happier of the two after 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I think they'll be a little bit disappointed going in there, conceding just before half-time. But after the slow start, I think they'll be more than pleased with the way we've responded, and especially the dominance we've seen in the scrum and the line-up from the boys. They know their areas to target in the second half, especially.
Bath 28, Durham 15, 6 tries in total. Let's take a look at them. This, the first one for Durham. And really, I think they just caught Bath cold, showed how dangerous they can be. It was just basic through the hands, really, wasn't it? Nothing off the training ground, no real movement, just classic pace.
Yeah, no, little give and go. I know sometimes that's all it needs, is the basics. And I mean, it looks a lot easier than it actually is, but I think he's done really well there, the fullback, to break through and find that gap.
Saw Melvin Farr coming into the line, had a man outside him as well. I don't really think we can blame Will Hughes there. He might have expected his inside man to have that covered, but either way, the backs at this level, if they sniff a gap, they're straight through. But that was the kick that Bath needed, And then they went back to what we know they're brilliant at. They've won so many games based exactly on this. And it's a team thing. You've got the winger in there, you've got the two centres. If we'd have waited any longer, I think the half-backs would have been in there. It would have been an old-school Irish 15-man drive.
Yeah, no, it's sort of an all for one for all kind of vibe. And once the boys get going and they get that momentum, you know it's not coming out. So you want to get as many bodies in there as possible to really push on and get that ball over the line.
Well, that was the first try. There's that man, Austin Hay. Seems to be at the centre of everything, actually.
I think he likes to get himself in front of the camera. He likes to get a few good Instagram shots. So he always tries to find the camera somehow.
That is the voice of Josh Rogers, Bath University club chairman. The referee went under the poles for a penalty try there, and that's when Bath really started to get a roll on. But that was a sort of two-sided coin, really. Incidentally, Jack Conte was yellow carded in this match. But as Bath were really getting a roll on, Durham's discipline started to let them down, and they were punished every time they made a mistake.
Yeah, no, we saw Durham give about 4, 5, 6 penalties away in a row, and I think that was down to the pressure put on by Bath. As you can see here, this is the third one where, again, that driving maul, and they just couldn't deal with it, and you got Tom Doughty at the back of it again, and it's the same result, over for a try.
Well, that was the third score. There was another one from Bath, and at that point it seemed as though every time they went into the Durham half, they came away with 7 points. Different scorer this time. Jack Davies couldn't quite get there. There's Austin Hay. We spoke about him a couple of times already. Good body position. So difficult to stop a man who's 100 and something kilos from that range.
Yeah, and I mean, as we said earlier, he's worked his socks off today. He's had a couple of great carries, and that was his just rewards for a brilliant first half from him.
Well, from that restart, there was carnage, because Henry Parmain found himself on the deck. He managed to continue with the match, but Tom Doughty didn't. He went off clutching with the right arm in a sling. This was the final try. I thought that had been grounded there. There was already advantage coming here for Durham, but Freddie Davies spotted the gap. And again, another big man. Practically impossible to stop from there. All part of the momentum. And that was converted to 28-15. But yes, the big news from that half, Tom Doughty unable to continue, and he looked in some discomfort as well.
Yeah, he's not one to shy away from it, and especially he's had injuries before, and he tries to carry on with all his might, and he's that type of character. But it didn't look too great. I hope it's nothing major, because he's such a key influence in this squad on and off the pitch, and more so I'd be gutted for him than anything. With having missed the last 3 games, he's desperate for some game time and just wants to play. So hopefully nothing too major.
BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Bath 28, Durham 15. We've had 6 tries so far in this match. We had a hatful last week as well. Let's take a look at some of the best ones.
Well, penalty advantage, clear to see. They're going to roll the dice. They go with a big long ball over the top. What a pass. It's a 2-on-1 and so easy. For the game and at half-time. And it's awe-inspiring as we see Cardiff stretch left again. It's a 2-on-1 and they find Thomas once more, who has scored his second of the game.
Yeah, it's great defence again by Cardiff, but here we are in that danger zone again.
Morley shows goes. He wriggles free. Offloads, and it's Sal and Burrows who open the second half scoring. Exeter, Morley shows goes. Hollis is on his outside. Is he going to find him? Yes, he will. What a handful he's been today. To Rouse, he's lost his head guard, but he hasn't lost his desire to take Exeter across the line.
If that doesn't make tries of the week, I don't know which sort of try would.
It was so much easier because I had already set up on the app about 3 months ago actually when it first came to the island.
I really like how simple it was to use.
It's the kind of convenience we want in this holidays that we live in.
Like, you don't really want to carry your passport around on night out, you're always going to have a phone on you.
The convenience to be able to go up and get my phone and just scan a thing.
It's just easy, you have all your stuff in one place.
And it makes life a lot easier when you're trying to prove your age and quite versatile as well.
Thanks once again for Doughty for their continued support of BUCS Super Rugby, bringing us nights like this live from STV. Bath 28, Durham 15. 2 quarterfinals running simultaneously. 14-13 half-time at the Gilmans. Hartbury in a real battle against Northumbria. We've got some of the Bath faithful here. Talk to me about those jackets. I can only see the one, but that's probably enough.
Well, they're absolutely phenomenal. Took inspiration from Durham, in fairness. Something they are very famous for is their Palatine blazers.
So they're to blame, aren't they?
And it was something that we didn't have as a club, and we turned around and said wanting to have something to show around campus and around well, the world who we are.
So what do you need to have achieved to get a jacket, or do you just need a checkbook?
A checkbook. Unfortunately, they're not that cheap. But we went through the same company Durham did, and they are really good quality, and they make them really nice. So.
Do they do them in any nice colours, or?
You got to have your club's colours, haven't you? So I think blue and gold is quite fetching, but you know, some may disagree.
Oh, very good. Oh, there's a few creeping in. But a good turnout tonight, and they're really getting behind the boys as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. They always come out in the masses. The boys were late back tonight. Most of those are the Force boys. They had their last league game of the season away in Gloucestershire, so a bit of traffic coming back, and they're the most vocal lot out of them all. So you hit a few chants towards the end of the second half, building noise for them.
And the women's team set a great example for the club. They overcame Bristol earlier, so they're going to be in the semi-finals of the women's competition. Incidentally, the final is going to be on the same day as the men's, April the 10th at Twickenham, and that'd be some double header if both the teams could get there. Well, the women's get into the final as well. Possibly. Did they lose today? Have I got bad information?
It might have been Durham playing. I don't think our women were playing today.
Oh goodness me! I got my information wrong. God damn it! Oh well. Well, congratulations to whoever did manage to qualify today. We will be covering the women's final live from Twickenham on the 10th of April. Last year it was Exeter versus Hartbury, and that was a stunning fixture, followed up by the BUCS Super Rugby final. Full moon tonight. All kinds of Bath werewolves will be coming. Perfect conditions actually for the time of year, given we've had some absolutely stinking days recently.
Oh no, definitely. And I mean, over the last few weeks it's been torrential here, so I was really keeping my fingers crossed for some nice weather tonight. The boys love it when it's like this because they can fling the ball about and get the ball out wide and score some nice tries.
Well, we paid Bath compliments early in the half and showed how much the sort of game has broadened and dare I say it, improved over the season. However, you've gone back to what you're good at, and it's paid dividends.
Yeah, no. Whilst the boys at times want to play as the fluid, flowing rugby, sometimes you just got to go back to what you know, and what we do know very well is that driving line out. And if you're good at it, don't change it. So I think especially in knockout rugby, you've got to get the points on the board when you can, and it's the best way for us to do it.
But Durham, they bookended the half there with some good periods of play. It was a great start. They defended well in the 22 and got the penalty. With their first attack of the half, they managed to get the try, and they finished strong there, having finally managed to put some phases together. They won't be too disheartened.
No, yeah, we've definitely still got a game on our hands, and it's by no means out the way yet. And Durham are a cracking side, and they will come back at us this half and really push on. And as you said, they did have some positive patches of play, and if they can build on that, the boys will have a stronger, tougher game on their hands.
4 tries for Bath, 2 tries for Durham, 2 tries for Tom Doughty. Still no news on his injury, but looking at the attention that he was getting from the medical staff, I'd imagine that's a dislocated shoulder, and if so, even with the powers of recovery that these young men have, that'll probably mean he's out for the rest of the season. But there is still a strong squad and a strong ethos here at Bath, and out they come. all smiles coming out of the tunnel. I wonder what was said at half-time.
More of the same, I imagine. I know the coaches do like to get into them when they haven't been doing too well, but at the minute I think the boys deserve a big pat on the back. They've come through some tough patches and they've played some really good rugby out there, and I think it definitely would have been a much more of the same. As I said earlier, the ethos and the relationship between coaches and players is very good, and that shows on the pitch.
Here come Durham. Now let's trot out a few rugby cliches, starting with first score of the second half is massive.
Oh, of course. As you said, it is most definitely one of the biggest cliches in the game, but it is huge. If Durham get it, they're right back in it, and if we get it, we're one step closer to Twickenham and firstly that semi-final. So,
BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Durham to kick us off in the second half through Paddy McJewell, who's been starved of oxygen in the 40 minutes so far. If they can get him on the ball, then anything is possible here at STV. Bath 28, Durham 15.
Okay,
knockout rugby.
Please.
By the end of today, 8 will become 4. And the pressure is on. Hanging restart into the 22. It's a good clean claim. In fact, that's the first restart that Darren haven't been really competitive on, choosing to go a little bit longer this time. And Bath already putting it through the hands to Will Partington. They're always keen to get him on the ball as often as they can.
Yeah, the boys aren't afraid to play with it, no matter what area of the pitch. If it's not on to kick, they'll look to set the phases, even go wide and see what we can do.
That number 16 is James Hadfield for Bath. He was the only real change in the first half. Remember, Darren spent 10 minutes with 14 on the park after Jack Conti was sent to the bin, and Darren really punished them in that time as well. They want to go quickly from the line out there. Melvin Farr hoists it into the night sky. Oh, that's a phenomenal take under pressure. Jack Kenningham, the back row bomb diffuser. Oh, there's a hand on that, but it still goes to Alex Nesbitt at the left flank and bundled into touch.
No quick. Yeah.
Quite difficult to see that flank because, of course, the dugout's in the way.
Okay, Bath.
I'm also looking through Sean Doran,
6 man,
who's one of BUCS Super Rugby's top camera operators, but it's a long way round him.
10 metres, thank you.
So Durham back in their own half. They spent plenty of time here.
From Bath, play on.
They've overthrown that as well. So Burridge puts the width on it early. Oh, good initial collision there from Chris Johnston.
No!
Partington with the carry. Here's Austin Hay, gets his hands on it again. Oh, nearly picked off again.
Still advantage, knock on.
Matt Welsh. Oh, it's been gathered! Oh, what a take, what a try! That is superstar stuff. Will Hughes gets on the end of the offload. It came out of the back door from Chris Barry. Thought he chucked the showbiz there and the ball had gone to ground. But when they stick, they're phenomenal. And Bath now 18 points to the good. It's a long way back for Durham, and that is the pick of the tries.
Yeah, no, got a bit fortunate with the knock on from Durham, and it landed beautifully into the hands of Chris Barry, and he released his inner jouet and out the back door there, and Hughes, he managed to hold on to it beautifully. Played a bit of volleyball with it, but then held on and scored a cracking try.
On the wrong side, not rolled.
Lovely score. Sometimes you've just got to release the hands, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think that's the great thing about the coaches here. They don't put any pressure on the boys, and if you try it and you make a mistake, they're not shouting down your neck. They want the boys to try everything and look to play the bit of rugby.
And this to open up a 20-point gap. Real kick in the nether regions for Durham as they were looking to get some kind of hold in this game. Bath just slammed the door shut. Partington to take the lead from 18 to 20. Kickable penalty as well. Well, the crowd had the best view in the house of that one, and they knew from the moment it left the boot. Bath 35, Durham 15. But that all started from that up and under take from Jack Kenningham in the midfield. Brilliant hands from the big man.
Oh yeah, he's a phenomenal player. He's come into us this year. He's with the Quins, and they call him the Labrador. Just doesn't stop running, and he's always got a smile on his face as well. Never see him angry around the place. Always smiling. Great to have in the camp as well as a phenomenal player.
Colin Markham with the carry. Durham competitive at the restart again. That's why I was surprised they went long in the first place.
Scrum advantage.
Advantage coming here for Bath after Parmay knocked the ball on. Yeah, they've caused havoc on the restart. Managed to take that one clean, but advantage over as Bath again try and run it inside their own 22. I think Partington, Ethan Hutt got it behind his own goal line there, managed to make 20 metres.
Good, always inside.
And now they do put boot to ball. He's not going to find touch though. Headley's underneath it. Bath come up as one, and James Catlin makes a good tackle on the winger. Here's Adamson. He's been a shining light for Durham. Really, really busy. Exactly what you want from your 7.
Advantage, high tackle.
Austin Hay goes a little bit high. So advantage coming. McJewel, Adamson again. Oh, gets swallowed up by Catlin. That's two big men colliding. We'll go back for the penalty. It's going to have to go for the corner because sticks are no good for Durham at this point.
Colin, there's 2 high tackles. There's one there, there's one here. You want this one? Number 9. High tackle. We had number 3 and number 9. Number 3, number 9.
And Durham into the Bath 22. We've not seen a catch and drive from them yet.
Yeah, that's you.
They played Bath at their own game in terms of keeping it tight through the forwards. That yielded a try just before half-time. Oh, Bath have pinched it. Kenningham gets a hand up. And Durham just cannot get a break in this quarter-final. Adamson came rushing up there. Another big tackle. Durham have actually got an embarrassment of riches in the back row. They're missing Fitz Harding tonight, of course. Alex Key, in his pre-match interview, said that he'd be a big miss. Josh Basham as well. 7 minutes of the second half gone.
Line's yours.
Bath managed to clear.
Line's yours.
But a bit of possession here for the visitors, who now need 3 converted scores to edge themselves in front. It's not impossible, Josh, but it's a big ask.
No, yeah, it's obviously been done before. I mean, all you need to do is look at this weekend. Scotland coming back from in the England game, and the boys will always be wary of that. There's always that chance, but at the minute they're going strong, and I've got every confidence in them from here.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Where did you watch the proper game?
In the stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, 14 and counting, isn't it? As we were saying earlier, 5 in a row for the boys. That winning mentality is just contagious, as it was shown
it is a habit.
with Wales this weekend.
Well, we'll talk about that at full time. Let's get back to this at the STV as Hay takes on a couple of big men. Freddie Davis was there.
Carried back. Hold in front!
Fine with front rowers. You kind of need to keep them on a leash, really, because they love a carry, but then they can get a little bit ahead of themselves and end up getting turned over. A bit of kick tennis here. The chase comes on as it drops out of the night sky. Good take by Burridge. And then he dropped it as he hit the deck. Thought he'd taken that one cleanly. Needs to get Jack Kenningham underneath it.
Yeah, no, Jack's shown he's unbelievable under the high ball. Not something many people knew beforehand, so just needs to be in the right position.
Changes for Durham. Luke Chadwick and Joe Burdis come on in the front row.
Okay, new hooker.
Ben Osuntakin coming on in the back row. Freddie Davis and Toby Woods having a breather in the front row.
Good space there, heads and gaps.
Jack Conte had a breather in the first half when he was sent to the sin bin.
Come. Good, thank you. Heads and gaps.
10 minutes of the second half gone. BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Just the one try, the try of the match in fact. Will Hughes got it. Josh, this is your 25-minute warning. You'll be picking the Doughty player of the match, okay? Talk all of the co-commentators through this. What tends to happen is it's a tight match, you pick the man of the match, and then the game goes the other way, and I've got to do an awkward interview, so just bear that in mind, all right?
Yeah, hopefully don't have any of that tonight.
Colin Markham puts the brakes on, but then gets over the gain line. There's his second row partner, Henry Parmain. Gets driven towards the touchline, just about manages to stay in though. Jacob Collin feeds his back rower, Chris Johnston. He's only really hit one line, Johnston. Very dangerous in open play when he gets the chance. Headley takes some bringing down as well.
Okay, tackle
Charlie Wilson. I wonder if we'll see Miles Rawston Rudd at any point. Over 100 points for him this season. Plenty of tries. Very, very dangerous. And that's been spilled forward.
Ball still live. Play!
Bath have got early here. Partington outside to the 22 now and puts Bath into space. Durham had switched off here. There's the inside ball. Partington races for the corner, beats the tackler. Paddy McJewell can't get there. And it was forward dominated from Bath in the first 40, but in the second, the backs are cutting loose. And that was devastating.
Oh, what a try that was. As we said, this game's been a tale of the forwards, but the backs really showing that they can play as well. And Hughesy going quick off the line out, finding Will P, and you know what he's like once he gets the ball and he was off. And Ethan down that side, absolutely lightning. And that just showed what a try. And he had the calmness to then give it back to him to finish it in the corner. And that's what they're all about.
Well, that was the impressive thing, wasn't it? The way Partington continued that support on the inside line. Huge credit to Paddy McJewell. He chased and chased and chased, managed to get something on the fullback, but couldn't quite get there. Usually, when it comes down to a foot race and that man's involved, there's only one winner.
Yeah, no, Will knows how to where the try line is, especially, and he's certainly not slow. He put his head down, and there was no stopping him from there.
Bath 40, Durham 15. And the ball went forward. Durham just switched off. We heard the ref say, it's clear as day over the microphone, the ball's still live. Not this time. So all the way from when the ball got knocked forwards here, the referee says the ball's live. Just look at Durham, we've got hands on hips there. And then Partington realises there's space, and once he's around the first couple, knows there's no one there, and then it's just stretch your legs, see how far you can get. Ethan had always looking inside. Perfect execution of the 2-on-1. Proper backs try. You said the forwards coaches would be happy with the first 4. I think the backs coaches will be happy with the second 2. Great kick as well. Bath in complete control.
Yeah, and it all goes back to that licence to play. There's no pressure. Hughesy in his own 22, he's just taking a quick line out because he knows that he's got the confidence in the boys around him, and he knows he hasn't got it on his shoulders. He's not worried about getting told off afterwards. And when you've got players like Will P and Ethan with the gas they've got, you're always dangerous from that area of the pitch, and especially in open space.
Score update from Gilman's. Northumbria were 19-14 up. Hartbury have just got a converted try, so they now lead 21-19. So a BSR classic down at Gilman's as Bath come forward again. Oh, this one has been picked off. Jack Headley gets on it, pops one out of the back door as well, and Johnston frees the hands too.
All play on, all play on.
Partington dabs that one into the corner, sees the left wing has crept up. Josh Wright gets turned, he's going to have to go all the way back as well. It's a slow chase from Bath, but it's a good defensive line. And over on that far side as well, everything is being cheered by the crowd.
Yeah, no, I think the boys are enjoying it there now. They always give them the cheer no matter what the score is, but I think they're really enjoying this one at the minute.
Yeah, Josh Wright's going to have a tough night over there. Anytime a high ball goes up, the Durham left
winger. Durham player, that's why it's slow ball.
15 minutes of the second half gone. BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty.
Not now!
2 tries for Bath in the second half have surely taken this one beyond Durham. Although we've got a break up the right hand side here, a strag tackle made, and it needed to be as Jack Headley threatened to get away. Not seen a great deal of him in the match so far.
Okay.
Tack on forward.
No advantage,
says the referee.
Tackle off the ball here. Tackle off the ball.
They're being brought back as Ethan Hutt got a little bit too eager.
Forward pass. Tackle off the ball. Okay. 1 and 3. 1, 3, change.
More changes being made here. Jack Headley's gone off for Durham. We've got some front row coming on for Bath as well.
Yeah, he's already off.
Kieran Verdon.
You happy?
Wearing number 18. Jake Buckingham's come on as well, so it's a completely different front row to the one that started. Did I see that Hugo Stiles has made his way on as well? Oh, big shot in the midfield. They've won the penalty.
Not you.
Bath looking to impose themselves physically. Oh, another big one as well. Jack Davies that time. And Hugo Stiles, he's been one of the breakthrough stars of the league this year. He's up over 100 points. And from a chairman's perspective, must be good to see him back on the pitch.
Yeah, no, he's had a bit of a problem lately with his ankle. Missed the last 3 weeks, but he's come back into the side and he's a quality player. When you get him on the ball, he's so dangerous.
Speaking of dangerous, Durham looking to put some width on it themselves. Scoreboard not their friend, but still plenty of time in this one.
No!
And this a bit better here from Durham as they hit the line, and they've got a 3-on-1 here. It must come. Oh, wonderful footwork. Josh Wright takes Durham up to 20. And that's what Durham can do when they put pace on the ball. A third try for them, and a wonderful finish there from Josh Wright.
Good call on that one.
Yeah, no, fantastic finish there. Boys just found themselves outnumbered out wide. Left with a 3-on-1 there, and Wilpie had no chance really. But cracking finish from the boy.
Easy conversion for McJewell. Wastes no time. 40-22. Pace on the ball. That's what Paddy McJewell does well. Takes it to the line. Lovely line from Josh Wright. And as you said, 3-on-1. Didn't need any of them. 2 men outside him thinking selfish winger.
Is any winger ever passing in that position?
That is a very good point, well made. Well, 9 tries. Suspected there could be a few this evening, but still 20 minutes to go. And is this the start of the comeback for Durham? Last time we thought it might be on. Bath managed to pick up a couple of tries just as the second half started. 3 good tries in the second half, actually.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of tired legs out there at the minute. A lot of space being found out wide, and the backs having a chance to open the legs. So maybe more of that in the next 20 minutes as well.
Certainly good for the neutrals. BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Durham looking to run it out of their own 22 and successfully managing to. Be careful not to get isolated here. It's Jamie Adamson. Oh, and then the mistake comes. Charlie Wilson thinking about the contact before he's caught the ball.
Yeah, great pressure there from the boys, putting it on in the Durham danger area. So great opportunity from here to go on and push for another try.
The reason I didn't recognise when Hugo Stiles came on is because he's had a sensible haircut.
Yeah, I'm sure the last time most people would have seen him, he had his mullet going on. He was a big fan of it, but I think it just got a bit too much for him, so he decided to get rid of that now.
And then he failed his HGV licence and got a normal haircut again, did he?
Yeah, well, he actually does drive a motorbike as well. So
of course he does.
the Muller motorbike look was quite a good one, I think. But sadly, he's had to get rid of it now.
All good.
Sadly,
Thank you. All good.
well, make of that what you will. But great to have him back on the pitch.
And you, Adam?
He's been very versatile for you this year, hasn't he? He's played outside half, full back, on both wings.
Yeah. Not on you.
Kind of player you want in your squad.
Yeah, no, he's just a phenomenal rugby player. He plays a lot of sevens as well. He's played for Hong Kong and get a ball in his hands, and that's all you need to do, really. No matter where he is, what position he's playing, it doesn't matter the number on his back. He's going to cause the team's trouble.
Good attacking scrum here for Bath.
Crouch!
We're in short of field position for a little bit in this second half.
Set!
No change in the score at Gilman, so Harbury still leading 21-19. Oh, was Bath just carved Durham open. Back into the 22. Penalty advantage coming as well. Chris Barry is driven back. Durham have been very physical when given the opportunity as Burridge tries a bit of hot stepping.
Just over here, over here, over here. Over here, hang on.
Partington wanted to go quickly.
Really get to the right place. Number 13,
Fancies
not
another
rolling.
one.
Rolled into the ball, slowed the ball.
But again, it's going to the corner.
Durham on the line, please.
Position that
Colin,
yielded
look where we are, remember what we said in the
two
first
Tom
half.
Doughty tries and a penalty try in
Remember
the
what we said
first
in the
half.
first
He
half.
won't be the man at the back of the drive this time round. There'll be plenty queuing up for that accolade. Bath 40, Durham 22 after an hour here. BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Kenningham goes up, good counter drive from Durham, so that's the first warning, needs to start to go forward now. And it does. Marching towards the line, over the line, and a 7th try for Bath. Well, it's textbook stuff. James Hadfield this time. Well, if I was a hooker and I was going to play BUCS Super Rugby next year coming out of school, I'll tell you where would be top of my UCAS application is Bath University.
Yeah, no, they certainly get themselves on the score sheets a fair amount, and Hadders, he's a quality player as well. Doesn't get as much game time as he probably deserves, with Doughty being such a player he is, but whenever he's called upon, he always puts in such a shift, and he's some player.
That's the thing with being a hooker, isn't it? It's such a specialist position. If you've got 2 or 3 good ones in a squad, you can't get them all on the pitch.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think we're lucky with that here with Bath, with Beck Ketton as well, of Worcester, so we have such a strong array of hookers, so I think they did all get the memo about if you want to score some tries as a hooker, come to Bath.
Well, 50 points very much on the cards here. Without wanting to be too cynical about it, Durham need a miracle. Tries to fade it in this time, unsuccessful. Partington's missed a couple, but he's more than made up for it with that try that he scored. Certainly one that'll be going on the tries of the week as we go towards semi-finals.
Seeing Chris Barry's just come off there for Adam Thresher, so I think that we've seen Jack Davis move back into the back row.
Okay, rock now!
Well, we were talking about the speciality of hookers and not being able to give them a game. Then you get players like Jack Davies who can play all across the back row and in the second row as well.
Okay, and
yeah, I think if you wanted him to, you could put him in the centre as well.
I mean, he'd probably say that, wouldn't he?
Ball still live. Not now. Okay, that's you there.
Again, we see Durham causing us problems from the kickoff. It's been a regular occurrence throughout the game, and I think moving on, if we get through this one, it's certainly going to be something that's going to be worked on in training this week. I think Aaron James has the famous words, if you can't catch a kickoff, come to Bath. It's one of his very big pet hates.
Maybe you should put that on the UCAS form as well. Love scoring tries from 2, hate catching kickoffs. Don't even need A-levels. Oh, is that going to be a tackle off the ball, or are they just going to allow them to chase? Will Hughes is the favourite here. Saul Melvin Farr manages to get back, though. Great pace from the number 15, and he watches it dead.
Colin, option.
Hughes really fancied that
22
one.
called.
Yeah, great hit there in the midfield, making that possible.
The referee giving him the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes when the ball's dropped, you see a ref give a tackle without the ball, and I always think, oh no, don't do that. If he'd have caught it, it would have been fine.
Yeah, when you're ready.
No, yeah, definitely, and I think on this occasion sense prevailed, and it was just a really great hit by one of the boys in the middle of the park.
22 restart, straight into the Bath bread basket, and they can come again. Partington in at first receiver. There is Styles, first carry for him. Better be fast in boots like that.
On the floor.
And that one's gone
Just
forward.
not forward on the floor. Yeah, no worries, no worries.
That's Colin Markham
Time off.
getting some attention. Real workhorse in the second row, Colin Markham. Had a great chat to him at the start of the season.
Brad, you good with that?
Captains the team very well. There's been a huge improvement in Durham this year.
Yeah, 16.
And you hark back to last year when they lost to Nottingham Trent, when Trent
all good.
were sort of newbies in the league and not really beating anyone. They made the decision to delay the start of the season by going on what they still swear was a warm weather training camp, but I'm sure it was a tour, but I'll never get the truth out of them. And rightfully so, what goes on tour stays on tour and all that. But then they started at Roslin Park. Great night down at the Rock actually against Bath. They were successful on that occasion as Bath make another change. George Wotton comes on.
Okay, rebalance.
Of course, Bath lost their first two league games of this season. I know the belief was always there and the squad was always there, but it's some turnaround.
Yeah, no, it was a slow start, and it was very frustrating for everyone involved because we had a really strong pre-season. Boys had come in back in great shape and built on that, and for some reason something just wasn't clicking. But as we've seen now, the last few weeks, it's all there in place now, and it's all working well, and it's getting. You want to have that
scrum.
Advantage!
Oh, they've turned it against the head. They've driven it back 6 or 7 metres and they've got the penalty advantage. Well, it's gone forward. They'll come back for the penalty.
Back's all offside and players breaking down.
And they'll dab it to the corner, and this could be the 50 points. But that is one of the things about this league. As you said, you had the squad, you had the players in shape, but if you have a bad night, you'll get punished. There are no freebies.
No, of course, and the competitive level of this league these days is second to none. And
got a score update from Gilman's. Hartbury have now got a converted try lead, 26-19. That kicked off the same time as this one, so there's still around 15 minutes to go. If we do get any more score updates, we'll bring them to you. Remember, the winner of this game plays the winner of that game.
That's one Bath
that game's ground as Bath come forward again in search of that 8th try. 3 metres, 2 metres, 1 metre short. There it is. It's a second try off the bench for James Hadfield. The Hookers Union take Bath up to 50 in this quarter-final. And that will send a message to the 3 remaining teams in the competition. Bath are on fire.
Yeah, definitely, and the boys are showing it today, what they've been working on, all the hard work that's gone into it. And it's been showing over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, some phenomenal performances. And it shows how strong our bench is. Hadders has come on, scored 2 tries. The boys, it's not just a first team effort, it's a whole squad effort, and it's really big going into these later stages that we have that.
Partington from the other side this time. 50 points. And he's taking his time over this one. But that is about as through the middle could be. Well, we're having a look at the replay, but this could be any of them. in the match. It's just so efficient when it goes forward. Jack Davies standing up there, instructing the rest of the troops. Hadfield at the back, waits till he sees the line and drops down. 8 tries.
Advantage. Okay, back foot, Bath. Scrum advantage over.
Advantage over here for Durham, who are just playing for pride, and with hands like that, and pride is very much something that they can still achieve. Cameron
First
Gleave
man
there.
is taking the ball, good turnover.
But Jacko Davies manages to rip the ball free, and now Partington has a bit of space to run into. He gets around a couple and gets the offload out of the back door. Guy's a great player to watch when he's in full flow, and Bath are already up between the 10 metre and the halfway line. Durham are out on their feet here, and Bath stretching them, but then it doesn't quite go to hand. Well, confidence just oozing through the brothers here. Even passes like that sticking, whereas they might not have if this one was in the balance. That's passed back into the 22, so won't go out on the full. Melvin Farr seems a long time ago since he scored that opening try to put Bath 8 points up.
Good work.
Oh, and this is going full Fijian now for the last 10 minutes by the looks of things.
Yeah, I think the boys are going to be loving the open space and looking to score some running rugby tries here.
Well, they're back into the 22. And Hughes has managed to pick up the offload there as well, as Bellarmine was being bailed towards touch. Oh, space is starting to open up here. And Bath going full jouet. They've got options both sides, but they go to the right. There's the inside ball. Oh, it's got to be on now, on the right-hand side. Inside ball to Alex Nesbitt. He stopped a couple of metres short. Durham still defending hard here, and huge credit to them. But eventually the walls are breached, and Will Partington gets his second, and Bath's 9th try. No, that's not a mistake. That is 9 tries for Bath, and still 11 minutes to go.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, the boys are really showing now what sort of rugby they can play, and really enjoying out there. You see they're all smiling, smiles on their faces, and that's the way it should be. Absolutely beautiful rugby out there.
Yeah, great line there from Partington. He's not associated with hitting the line hard, but huge, huge, huge gaps. BUCS Super Rugby presented by Doughty. Approaching the 70th minute of this BUCS Super Rugby quarter-final. Bath have decimated Durham, and they will be travelling to the semi-finals next week full of confidence. He pulls another kick. But as we get later on in the competition and the matches get a little bit closer, then he's going to have to make a few of those, I feel. Hartbury still up at Northumbria. Tell you what, the other semi-finals tasty. Exeter versus Leeds Beckett.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, next to league champions, Leeds Beckett haven't lost in 10. So, as we said before, winning is infectious, and Leeds Beckett will be going into games now thinking they're going to win every game they play. So,
Hartbury have just scored another try. I've been given the news. There's advantage coming here for Durham. Colin Markham's lost the headgear for the last 15 minutes. Offside, so Durham go quickly. Ollie Green, the replacement scrum half, wears a shoulder. Big shift from every single one of these, even the Durham boys who spend a lot of time defending. It's not been their night tonight, but that's more to do with the quality and the control of Bath as opposed to any lack of quality on their side, as Markham takes it in again. just received news that that try has actually been disallowed, so it's still 26-19. Is that accidental offside there with Josh Wright? No, the referee's going to let them play on. Durham very much playing for pride. Oh, monster hit! That was read beautifully. Josh Wright smashed to the ground.
Okay, lost now.
It's Miles Rawston-Rudd who has made it onto the pitch, but too little too late. Chris Johnston that time. Oh, it's been turned over though. Oh, but illegally, says the referee. Just I thought Bath were going to sweep forward for another one. Couple of minutes time, I want your man of the match.
Yeah, I've got a few people in mind. I'll just make a final decision now, and maybe the next few minutes will change that, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Let's go. Stay square. Stay square. 7.
Well, you've got me guessing now. Let me tell you who's impressed me for both sides tonight. I think Saul Melvin Farr has done well from 15. I think Colin Markham and Henry Parmain have played very well, the 2 second rowers. I think Paddy McDowell, the 10, has fed on scraps, but as always, he's looked to attack the line. But in terms of Bath, who's played well, Partington's played well. I think Burridge has done well. The forwards were great. Tom Doughty before he went off. I thought Austin Hay carried well, particularly in the first half. Jack Davies, and Chris Barry, Jack Kenningham. Well, everyone really. How can you pick an individual in a team that scored 57 points? But while they reset this scrum, then who's impressed you tonight, and ultimately who's your Doughty player of the match?
So yeah, as you were saying earlier, there's been some really big performances. I think one to mention is Austin Hay. He had some phenomenal carries, really good try. Tom Doughty, unfortunately, before got injured with the 2 tries, he's, as I said before, leader on and off the pitch. But for me, with 20 points, and not only just the tries he scored, but the tries he set up, Will Partington, as we saw that try, probably the try of the game, in the corner that he started and finished, with a bit of Ethan Hutt in between. So phenomenal try, great player, and he's not afraid to attack from anywhere, and it's really shown that tonight.
Well, week in, week out, he's one of the stars of BUCS Super Rugby. Will Partington, though, Doughty man of the match for Bath, with some defending to do here. Stick around with us at full time, because we will be getting a chat with the Doughty man of the match and the winning coach as well.
Okay, and away, back foot.
I don't like to make any assumptions, but I'd imagine it will be Bath's coach.
Offside.
Another advantage coming here for Durham as they look to finish strong. Again, Bath managed to turn it over during the advantage. And I thought Partington could be going in for another then.
Yeah, I think he'd be a bit gutted there. It looked like he was in for his hat-trick, so would have capped off the perfect performance.
But huge credit to Durham here. 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And they're still knocking on the door.
Yeah, send him on.
Got Ethan Hutt coming back onto the field of play. Didn't see him leave, actually. Must have been a bit of medical attention. But they're going out in the quarter-finals. However, they've made huge strides since last season. Beaten Exeter. Did the double over Bath in the league, and this is a bit of a damp squib for them to end the season on. But all in all, it's been pretty positive. It'll be difficult for them to swallow this evening.
Crouch!
Oh no, definitely, and they've played really well, and I think they need to take some positives, or a lot of positives out of that. I just think today the boys have just been too good for them, and that's the bottom line.
Oh, what a line! Well, the try was scored in the end, despite the chop tackle coming in from Jack Kenningham, which would have been one of the finest try-saving tackles I've ever seen. But Miles Rawston-Rudd, over 100 points for him this season.
Thanks, Gareth.
Watch this line. Hits it at 100 miles an hour.
3.5. Just under now.
Straight through the 2. And that's a consolation try. You've got to be disappointed when you come to a place like the STV. You score 4 tries, which would usually put you in massive contention, but you're still on the end of a scoreline like this.
Yeah, no, and as we were saying, I think Durham, they've had a fantastic season and can't be too disheartened. They've played well tonight. I think it's just
the boys have been too good. I think everything has gone right for the boys tonight, and they've shown their class. And it's, as we said, winning's infectious. This is the 6th win on the bounce now, and puts us in a really good shape going into the semi-final next week.
There you go, beautiful pass from McJewell. He does that incredibly well. Takes it to the line. He's one of the standout 10s in the league, really. But BUCS Super Rugby, presented by Doughty, the dying embers of this quarter-final, where Bath have put on the performance of their season. A couple of minutes left at Hartpury, of course. There's still one score to the good as Rawston Rudd looks to attack from deep. McJewell's dropped that. There'll be another scoring opportunity for Bath, and they'd love to get a 10th try.
Oh yeah, definitely. The boys are always asking for more, and they're always trying to get more, no matter what the result. And it's got to be ruthless in this sort of game. So go out there and get another try. I'm sure there's a couple of boys out there who haven't had one yet, or even 2 boys on a hat trick. So I'm sure they're desperate to get one as well.
And if nothing changes, Hartpury next week. Oh, 2 brilliant semi-finals. If you're watching at home and you've got some friends, some rugby fans, some sports fans, and they don't follow this league, then get them involved. They've got 3 matches to go till the end of the season, 2 semi-finals and a final. One of them will be live.
Point. Set.
I'd imagine it'll be the one at Hartpury, actually, because they've got floodlights and Exeter don't. Imagine winning the BUCS League and not having floodlights at Topsham. Come on, Exeter.
Let's go. Let's go, boys.
No, but they've been brilliant throughout this season. Keith Fleming's men left it late, actually, with 4 games to go. We thought that they were going to win it by a mile, but then Bath went on their run of form. Hartpury took it to the last week as well, but Exeter managed to get that victory over Cardiff to set up the same fixture in the quarter-final today, but that was very different. They got a penalty with 1 minute to go to take the lead 34-31, then James Davies, who's been a revelation this season, not just for Cardiff but for the league, unfortunately missed a penalty that would have taken it to extra time. But here come Bath, another dominant scrum from them, attacking the line. Rawston Rudd makes a tackle alongside Cameron Gleave. Jack Davis, he's put in a shift today, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he always does. He's you rarely see him not play a full 80. He always empties the tank out there, and he's such a strong carrier, such an athlete, and he always does it out there for the boys.
But Bath keeping it tight. This has been the hallmark of this performance. They've cut loose in the second half, but it was this kind of play that put them in control and booked their place in the last 4 of the competition. Well, tempo's the call. They want a 10th. They've got a 10th.
Try.
62 points, 10 tries, right on the final whistle as the clock goes red. And that is surely even more than even you could have hoped for as the chairman of the club.
Oh no, what a performance from the boys. And that's James Hadfield there with his hat trick. Came on for Tom Doughty just at the tail end of the first half, and he's going to be having to go at me later for not giving him man of the match. But yeah, what a performance from 1 to 23. The boys have put in a phenomenal shift. And
I don't think scoring tries from hooker in a Bath jersey should put you in contention for man of the match at all. 5 tries from hooker in this match alone, but that only makes half of the points. 62-32, 96 points shared, and confirmation that Hartpury have overcome Northumbria as well. So get it in your diaries, the 2 semi-finals next week as Partington converts what should be the last kick of the game. And it is Bath 64, Durham 32. A destruction from the brothers. The performance of the season, in fact, probably the best performance for many seasons here at the STV.
Oh, definitely. I'd say this has been our best season to date, finishing 3rd in the league, and this is just a builder on that. And now we're into the knockout rugby. The message was to keep it going, and what a performance out here tonight you've seen from the boys, and they were relentless at times, and
some phenomenal rugby, and hopefully they can take that now into next week.
Bath 64, Durham 32, setting up the semi-final at Gilman's against Hartpury, the defending champions. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, obviously Hartpury, outstanding outfit, having won it last year, but I think the boys will go into that with a whole lot of confidence. 6 wins in a row, beating Hartpury home and away this season, so that's a big mental barrier as well that we've overcome, and I think the boys will be going into that with a lot of confidence and a lot of belief in themselves, and I think we've definitely got every chance.
Well, we're going to be grabbing a word with the winning coach and the man of the match, Will Partington. So enjoy the highlights, enjoy the tries. Lord knows there were plenty of them. And we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes' time with words from the victors.
Right there, guys, Gareth.
STV. Bath 64, Durham 32, and the reason that you and I have been stood here for so long, Aaron, is because they just showed all the tries. Surely in your wildest dreams you didn't think you'd get 10 tonight. That was some performance.
Yeah, we're really pleased. I think you saw some of the best of us tonight, but and also we leaked 32 points, so we're fairly grounded, but yeah, couldn't be more happier.
That's the coach in you, that is. You've got a 32-point victory, you're into the semi-finals. So much to talk about, but let's concentrate on a negative to begin with. Tom Doughty left the field of play looking in some discomfort. Is there any news on the injury?
Unfortunately, I don't think it's too good. I think Tom's shoulder issues off to hospital, so that's the saddest bit of the night, and our thoughts with him.
Let's move on to the positives then. They had a great start, make no doubt about it. They stung you with a great try, they got the penalty, but as soon as you got that catch and drive rolling, classic Bath, you just seized the game by the scruff of the neck and there was no looking back.
Yeah, it's good. I think, as I said, you saw a bit of all of us. We've learnt to play boring and get a score, but there's a balance to our play. And yeah, we've got as other teams know, we've got some good aspects of our driven play and our forward play, but then to run some points in from our own half is also good. So it's great balance.
With that victory today, you become the only team in the league who's beaten every team in the league. You beat Hartpury for the first time in your history this season, and that's who you've got in the semi-finals next week. Your thoughts?
As this just showed, we hadn't beaten Durham till tonight, and then we turned that round. Yeah, okay, that's a great milestone, but it doesn't count for anything in semi-finals. As the word goes, the semi-finals is the hardest game. The finals can look after themselves. Hartpury, we bet them for the first time ever in our whole career away to that. Hell, it's been tough. There's 40, 50 times we haven't beaten them. So up at Hartpury. So we were rid of the challenge. Dust ourselves off and prepare, for that.
We'll bring the man of the match in shortly, but who impressed you aside from him this evening? And you can't say 1 to 23.
I can. I did. Look, Jack Kendringham just keeps on going. Yeah. And it's great for a set piece, but I will say there's been a good balance across the forwards and backs, but. Yeah, I'm disappointed for Tom Doughty. He's been a great captain all year on the field. He'll continue to be. If it's off the field from now on, wanting to see his injury, he'll still be excellent. So thoughts go out to him, but he's been outstanding and partly led to this win today.
Of course, well, he got 2 tries even in the short time he was on the pitch. But Will Partington, congratulations, you are the Yoti man of the match.
Well done, mate.
Let's get a medal around your neck and a microphone in your hands, because you're a man I want to talk to. Thank you very much for your time and congratulations. And speaking of congratulations, couple of tries for yourself. I mean, I'm not going to pick you up on those missed kicks. However, great performance from you, great performance from the team. You must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, always nice to get the recollection for it. But there's boys who scored a hat-trick. Tom scored 2 tries. The platform that we've set for ourselves, we're really trying to pride ourselves on being really disciplined, and that's where we give ourselves the chances to get set-piece tries, and we've scored 5-6 set-piece tries there.
Something I noticed after the match when you were all in the huddle, I know it's something that's talked up by all teams, but it does seem like a really special group of players. There seems to be a bond there this year.
Yeah, it's outstanding. It makes it easier getting up at 7 in the morning to go to training in the cold. We're all saying it. We've never been in a group like this. I've played in lots of teams. We all have, but we've got a real special culture at the moment, and it makes things easier.
Well, other than the scoreline, which is obvious, what's the difference between this team that put 60 points on Durham tonight and the team that couldn't get over the line against them in the league?
I mean, credit to Durham. They challenged us massively in these three games we played today, especially. Like, they're playing rugby that we couldn't stop. Sometimes down to small errors, sometimes to them, just credit on them. We're picking up form at the right time though, and that's why it's important. That's 6 games on the trot for us.
Hartpury next week?
Yeah, I've got to be confident about it. We've beaten them twice, so look forward to it.
Simple as that. Well played today. You're the man of the match. Let's bring the club chairman Josh Rogers in to close the show. You've got a night to enjoy, I'm sure. I hope that medal doesn't lead to a fine. Great to hear from Aaron. He's over the moon. Obviously, Will there played it down a little bit, but I'd imagine he's pretty stoked as well. But from a chairman's point of view, that's about as good as it gets.
Oh yeah, what a performance. The boys went out there and showed what they're all about, and obviously it was a tough mental barrier in the first instance, having not beaten Durham this year. But the boys put that past them in the first 5-10 minutes. I know we started a bit slowly, but then after that, 4 unanswered tries, and we really stuck it to them. And the boys didn't let up, and they put their foot down and really sent out a message now next week for not just Hartpury but Exeter and Beckett too about what we're about in this knockout stage.
Well, we've had 3 close semi-finals, and the one they covered was yours. That was a 30-point stuff, and it's been a pleasure to have your company this evening. I look forward to the next time we meet, and hopefully the next time that we meet will be next week for the semi-final. 2 matches, not sure which one will be covered, but they'll both be absolute thrillers. We have Exeter versus Leeds Beckett at Topsham, and this Bath side, fresh off a 10-try victory against Durham, will be travelling up the road to the Gilmans, where Hartpury will host them. Hope you've enjoyed this evening. Remember to stay involved with BUCS Super Rugby on all of the social media platforms. From Josh Rogers and from myself, Dave Rogers, we look forward to speaking to you again soon. Goodbye.
Cheers.
It was so much easier because I had already set up on the app about 3 months ago actually when it first came to the island.
I really like how simple it was to use.
It's the kind of convenience we want in this modern age that we live in.
Like, you don't really want to carry your passport around on night out. You're always going to have a phone on you.
The convenience to be able to go up and get my phone and just scan a thing.
It's just easy. You have all your stuff in one place.
And it makes life a lot easier when you're trying to prove your age and quite versatile as well.